What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Redonkulous Gaming. You've got Redonk. Today I want to get into a game that's coming out on Steam Early Access March 15th of 2018. That game is Boss Crushers. Boss Crushers is a dungeon crawler, I should say, rogue-like game that is a ton of fun. Carries a high degree of difficulty, but overall it's aesthetically pleasing to play. You got these three classes basically to start. You've got your witch, which is a fast caster, and then what's unique about this game is that your talents are cumulative. So as you can see, I've played a little bit so far, but when you die and you really have to start all over again, you're able to start with whatever character you want, and you keep your talent tree, and you keep the blueprints and the tomes and everything that you have collected. So far, these are the two bosses that I have been able to face, and what I want to do is just kind of give some gameplay footage of each of these three classes. The Witch, which I mentioned is a quick caster, has the ability to hide and control the enemies. However, she does not inflict very high damage. Then we've got our Crystal Keeper. Crystal Keeper inflicts very high damage, but has a slow casting speed and high cost. He also has low mobility, and that is something that was tough for me to adjust to, that's for sure. And then we've got our Sorcerer, our character that inflicts high damage, quick and cheap spells, good mobility due to his blink ability. So overall, we've got what is essentially a glass cannon here, slow casting speed, high damage. We've got kind of a good blend and mix with higher mobility, and then we've got our Witch. And one of the things that is unique is that you get traits based on whatever class you decide to pick, and you can re-roll those traits. I don't really want to, but I'm going to show you what happens. And my traits have changed for each one of these classes. So unfortunately, I wanted the keys. That's okay. But I'm going to go ahead and start off by showing the Witch, and then we'll kind of go progressively. I will go ahead and put notes throughout the video to kind of show start times for each of these, so that if you are interested in a specific class, you'll know exactly what timestamp to jump to. And I am loading them right now. So there you go. Go ahead and jump to whatever timestamp you want to see. And we're off to the races if you would like to watch the Witch gameplay. So here's our level 1. And as I mentioned, the game has a high degree of difficulty to start. And so I'm going to die. We'll just put it plain and simple. I am going to die, but you'll at least get a good feel for the game. So you go from room to room, unlocking access to the next room. What I'm going to do that is different, because just kind of for the sake of time and the fact that you'll likely get the hang of this before I even get to the boss, is I am going to rush to the boss instead of trying to accumulate levels and skills if I can find the door. So that's what I'll try to do, just to kind of show you footage of boss fights. So I'm already doing terribly, because playing this game while talking is challenging, at least in my opinion. And as you can see, I've started with a skill that's spammable. It's a missile spell. It doesn't cost any mana. I've got my Frost Nova, which was given to me by talking to the little dude at the start there. Everyone gets a dash ability to begin, which is the spacebar, which you absolutely need to use as much as possible. As you can see, you don't want to take any damage. Each little bit that I take here chunks off about a quarter of my life, so I've gotten hit twice so far. And then the Q button, and this is actually a game that does not support controller play at this time on Steam, but the Q button is your ultimate ability. So for this one, it's a shadow copy. For the Witch, creates a copy of the Witch, and then sometimes you get lucky and you clear and you're able to get nice. So we got 2 keys, which is going to be great if we encounter a treasure before I find the boss. So now I don't have to buy it from the dungeon guy. Now there are not very many health orbs or anything like that, so it's very unforgiving when it comes to actually being able to heal yourself. Trying to break through these shields. And I'm low on mana, so I can't freeze them. Okay. So there's a lot of kiting involved. And the Witch does do the least amount of damage, but highest cast speed, so it kind of makes up for it. I like it because I can focus a little bit more on moving and less on aiming. So far she's my favorite class to play in boss crushers. There we go, a rare health orb, which I missed. Alright. That should do it for this round. And then we've got these little teleportation discs, which allows me to teleport around as I find them in clear rooms, assuming I don't die. I mean, there's a lot to consider, and really, you should be taking down the range first for the most part, although these guys, they move slowly, but they hit pretty darn hard. So you're just going to want to prioritize the enemies that you take down, really based on the class that you're playing. And there's a pretty good variety of enemies. I'll walk right into that. So these chests are free. When you clear a room, they're free, but if you walk into a room and there is a chest, then you need a key to open it. And this game is still in development, so one of the things I did notice on one of my other playthroughs is that there are times where enemies will disappear and go invisible. I don't believe that is intended to be the mechanic, however, it very well could be. The reason I don't think it is because the health bars are still showing, and I'm guessing if that were a mechanic, they would actually be fully invisible. But so far, that's the only thing I've encountered. Other than that, it's incredibly smooth. Okay, so that is the Witch, and as I mentioned, it is somewhat difficult to talk and focus on moving and avoiding stuff at the same time. I leveled up and I missed it in game. I should have gone ahead and hit my next talent, so I'm just going to go ahead and just increase my firepower. So we did the Witch. Now we are going to go into the Crystal Creeper. So I've got the Enlightened trait to start, which is going to be very, very helpful. And I am running the game right now on the optimum graphics, just so that you're able to see exactly what the game looks like. I think it's a very pretty game. And actually, this is one that I've been tracking personally for quite some time. Alright, so now I've got the Crystal Creeper, and this is a slower mobility class. As you can see, I'm moving around. I'm not doing, not going very fast. I still have my dash ability, and then I'm starting out with the Shards ability as my right-click option. So let's get into it. And this is a class I probably struggle with the most, personally, just because the slow cast time and the slow movement. Although I do hit like a Mack truck, and the problem is aiming while moving for this character, for whatever reason, is somewhat cumbersome and challenging for me. So this may be even sloppier than the Witch. Very, very well done game. It's been a lot of fun so far, and I've barely just scratched the surface on it. And I think this class is likely going to be one of the favorites. And here we go, I've uncovered a vendor. As you can see, I've got gold that I accumulate slowly from killing enemies, as well as any gold that I find in random chests. And then, obviously, this keeps track of your keys up here. And these are all very expensive, so I can't really afford it with my 32 whopping gold right now. What I like about the game is that for early access, there's going to be a decent amount of talents, overall just gameplay. From what I understand, the game is intended to really appeal to people who may not be necessarily very good at roguelike games, which again are more unforgiving. But the fact that your talents and your levels are cumulative is really going to be appealing people who may have struggled with this genre. Looks like I leveled up again. So we are going to go with... I need cast speed on this guy. Maybe the 4% will make a difference. But I like that it can appeal to a wider audience. I think the dungeon crawler game genre in general was one that's obviously always been very popular. But this one feels unique, and it feels, you know, it's a game that I can see myself playing and just kind of picking up for quite some time. And that's generally what I look for. When I look for a new game on Steam, when I look for a new game in general, it comes down to replayability and how often I'm going to want to play it after my first playthrough. I left that guy behind. Okay. I'm going to show off the ice, which is the ability I got there at the beginning, the ice shards. And then on the next spawn, I'll show off the ultimate ability, which is the energy ray. As you can see, it releases a ray of energy. It hits enemies, deals 19 plus 0 damage based on spell power. And then that's damage over time. Oh, going the wrong way. Oh, maybe I found the boss. I hope so, even though I don't have full health. Yes, I did. So at least we'll be able to show off some boss footage here. I'm going to start off with an ultimate, just to make sure we see it at least on one character. Love the cutscene. And this guy I have faced before. He's slower. Oh, I'm hitting the wrong button. Dash. Get out of there. Wow. That's the problem. I'm a slower character, and then on top of that, I misclicked, and went from bad to worse real quick. Ooh. So again, this is not intended to be a game for the faint of heart. But again, for the sake of this video, we're trying to show off all classes. I also don't want to make this an incredibly long video. It's going to be anyway, but I would prefer for it not to be. So we showed off so far the Crystal Keeper and the Witch. Now we're going to get into the Sorcerer, which is higher mobility because it does possess the Blink ability. It does solid damage overall. This is a unique trait, actually. I have not seen this one yet. Strengthening 25 HP when leveling up. So let's get into this. Alrighty. Here we go. So here's my missile spell, my base spell. Doesn't cost any mana. I'm going to go ahead and talk to this guy. And he gave me the Stun Ray ability. I don't have Blink just yet. Then I would say this one's probably my second favorite to play. Oh. Believe it or not, I used my Stun Ray there. Just used it on a guy that had shield up. There we go. I think I barely missed. Alright. I'm going to stun this caster as soon as I get this little bodyguard down. Okay, so anyway, that's what the spell looks like. Should have casted it sooner so that you could actually see it hit somebody. There we go, get some health back. Ugly start. Charging up. And the way you charge up your ultimate ability, which is Lightning Strike for this guy, is simply just by casting and landing spells. And I just got stuck on a tree. Run. and the more damage you do, it slowly builds up. It builds up to 3 charges, so that piece is nice because ultimately to get ready for the boss, you want to make sure that you go in with your ultimate fully charged, but you also have to be careful because, as you can see, the health globes are few and far between. So you want to kind of balance the leveling of your ultimate ability, your charges, with the amount of health that you actually have. There are other enhancements that you can buy from the vendor, things that increase your overall spell potency, things that increase your overall health pool for the next, X battles. Typically, I believe the number is 5. Okay, level up. Stun these guys. Doing a little bit better, but I'm hoping that we can find a boss before the end of this one. There we go. Get the stun off. It's a lot of kiting, a lot of moving around. You're really not going to be bored. Free chest. What do we get? Got gold. So now I'm hoping that we find a vendor. And if you haven't noticed already, the levels here and the stages, the rooms, I should say, are randomly or procedurally generated. So there's really no way to learn a map necessarily and memorize it, especially with everything that's going on. I will show off the teleport before all is said and done here. You can see how you move about the rooms. This one does have a teleportation pad in here, so. Stun these two. Let's get out of here. Missing one? Yep, missing one. Okay, so holding the tab button allows me to teleport between these rooms. So you can do it really from anywhere. I don't have to be on a teleportation pad, so I'm going to go back here, and then I'll just continue upwards from there. Load screens aren't bad at all. Again, for early access, you never really know what you're going to get. The developer did a great job of really getting this game ready for sale on early access. Obviously, you need to continue the development and ultimately finish the game, make it how they want, and I am just doing a terrible job of showing this off. I'm going to get an ultimate off before I die here. So that was an ultimate ability. I'm going to do one more. That's off cooldown. There you go, just to kind of see it. So that's my lightning strike and my ultimate. I didn't want to die before I showed that off, because I am about to die. There it is. So there you go. That's Box Crushers in a nutshell. I believe I forgot to level up my talents there. But again, rogue-lite, because it allows you to cumulatively level up all 3 classes that are available to play. I like the fact that you get randomized traits as you go into the levels. It's something that I really like. You can also re-roll them if you don't necessarily like it for a certain class. So if I want to play Witch, and I'm not a big fan of this specific trait, despite the fact that I am, because leveling up 25% faster sounds great to me. And you just hit this little re-roll icon, you get it once before you head in, and now it's switched over to Mana Vampire, converts 1% damage into mana, which actually gives you a lot more ability when it comes to casting. So the game is it's fun. It's a lot of fun, and for an early access game, something that'll keep you entertained. As you can see, partially has to do with the fact that I was recording, but when you're not distracted, it's still a very challenging game, and ultimately it's going to provide hours of entertainment until you get comfortable with the game, until you're able to really make an impact and feel like the game, until you get used to it enough to the point where the game actually starts to become almost second nature in terms of moving around. You should probably likely get an efficiency with a certain class. As I said, Witch tends to be my favorite. For whatever reason, it's the only one I've beaten a boss on so far. And that's just comes down to the fact that I like to be able to move around quickly. I like the fast cast time. And I like her ultimate ability, which is where she leaves shadows of herself behind and starts casting. So that was one that was very helpful as I headed into the boss fight. So there's a playstyle for everybody. Love dungeon crawler games. Dungeon crawlers are some of my favorite. Going back to the original Diablo days, I've always been a fan of these dungeon crawlers, and I certainly like the hardcore facets of the dungeon crawlers. So these roguelike games certainly appeal to me, hoping that they appeal to you as well. And if they do, give Boss Crushers a try on Steam Early Access, out March 15th, 2018. And as a reminder, if you like our videos, please be sure to subscribe to our channel. Follow us on Twitter. We are at Redonk Gaming. Like us on Facebook at the same handle. And visit us on our website at www.redonkulousgaming.com.